As well. I want to get to Melbourne now. Liberal Senator Jane Hume is standing by for us. Jane, great to see you. There's a lot going on in the coalition at the moment, not a lot of it good. What is your overwhelming emotion? Is it despairing, embarrassed, hopeful?
I think it's frustration, Laura. There's so many things going on outside of the coalition. You just reported on some of them then. The Prime Minister's failure to make a deal with Vanuatu and how he's going to make up for that in Honiara this week. I want to be talking about why our living standards aren't going to return to the levels that they were when the coalition left office now until in the middle of the 2030s. I want to be talking about Labor crab walking away from their superannuation tax and the great big budget black hole that's going to leave. I want to be talking about the bill that I introduced to tackle the gender super gap, and instead the coalition seems to be talking about itself.
It didn't help. Wasn't helped along. I don't think even. With writing with such passion this morning with Prue Goward. She is also been appointed to write the election review, and she's described Jacinta Price this morning as an Icarus-type character flying too close to the sun and seemingly unable to apologise. What do you make of that? What should we make of that?
I would have thought that that intervention would be unhelpful, as is any peripheral commentary on what's going on, what should be an internal discussion within the Liberal Party. There is no doubt that Jacinta made a mistake, and she's acknowledged that. She's walked those comments back. There is no doubt that it's been terribly handled internally. I think that the Leader's office would probably now acknowledge that if the Leader wanted an outcome, she probably should have picked up the phone herself rather than sending a henchman. Because this has been so poorly handled, it's now blown out of control. The question now is, how do we bring the conversation back to what is important to everyday Australians? Because that's what we're here to do. We're not here to talk about ourselves.
So you're saying this is an indictment on Susan Lee's leadership?
No, that's not what I said at all. What I said was that it's been poorly handled, and it should be now on all of us, beholden on all of us, to bring it back to an internal issue rather than something that gets played out in the media.
Isn't that something that's done by the Leader?
Well, I would hope that there would that direction would be taken. However, in the meantime, the most important thing that we can do is talk about what is important to ordinary Australians, point out Labor's failings because they are considerable in number and in magnitude. That should be our job right now.
And the underlying point here is the importance of the migrant vote in Australia. We had Simon Welsh on the program yesterday from Redbridge Group saying, on paper, these are aspirational voters. These are people that should be traditionally looking to the Liberal Party as their first choice, and they're just not doing that. James Campbell also pointed out on the program yesterday as well. He raised the issue of you referring to Chinese spies during the election and how that did damage as well. Is this all in the same basket?
Well, let me first of all discuss the Indian community, which, you're right, should be a natural Liberal voter. They are great family people, have enormous family values. They're very hard workers. We often speak to members of the Indian community that have 2 or 3 jobs. They start their own businesses. They are natural Liberal coalition voters. And in fact, we had a number of Indian candidates running for us at the last election. I was working for an Indian candidate in the seat of Hotham at the last election, a terrific fellow, when this issue of foreign interference in our electoral system arose. That was what occurred in Hotham. So let me explain that particular analogy that has been rather ignorantly drawn on by some commentators. I should never have used the phrase Chinese spies. And for that, I apologise. It was ill-conceived and it was in the heat of a moment. But it was in the context of foreign interference that was being alleged on Labor booths in the seat of Hotham. It's actually being investigated by the Electoral Integrity Task Force. Now, I shouldn't have used that phrase. I should have used Chinese Communist Party, or I should have used PLA. But unfortunately, that phrase was clipped up by Labor a couple of days before the election and sent out on WeChat as a distraction, as a deflection. Don't look at the alleged foreign interference. Look at how awful the Liberal Party are, how they don't understand your community, how they're accusing you all of being disloyal. Somehow, my comment, rather than that clip, seemed to be the story of the day. I think that's just outrageous, because let's be honest about this, Laura, that if politicians can't raise the spectre of foreign interference in our electoral system without being accused of being racist by either politicians or commentators, well, then we're really in trouble. I mean, that's when the bad guys win. It's really important that we raise these issues. Now, could we use more nuanced language? Absolutely, absolutely. But we should not equate a conversation about foreign interference to a discussion about population and immigration either.
Is it all analogous, though, to what Jacinta Price was saying? We've seen this kind of argument in the United States as well, perpetrated by some commentators, and perhaps this is the base of what Jacinta Price was getting to, is that a lot of migrants will vote for the Labor Party, and therefore, and Indian migrants in particular, and therefore it's an existential threat and they control it. I mean, I don't know whether there's a really thin thread there that she is trying to clutch onto, because of course you can't vote until you're an Australian citizen anyway. But was there something there that she was trying to warn about?
I think Jacinta's expression of this was clumsy, and there is no doubt about that. She was wrong, and she admitted she was wrong. She walked that conversation back. She walked her words back. The most important thing that we can do now as a Liberal Party, as a coalition, is demonstrate the value of the association for those communities with the Liberal Party, that our values reflect their values, that we want freedom and choice and personal responsibility and reward for effort, and recognise the importance of small business and the dangers of big government. This is what the Liberal Party stands for. That's what those communities want. It's on us now to demonstrate that.
She's walked it back. She hasn't apologised. Should she?
I saw Julian Leese's speech yesterday to members of his Indian community, and I thought it was both eloquent and heartfelt, and his apology was real and genuine, and I'd support that. If Jacinta could apologise, I think it would be helpful. But I think that that's a conversation that should happen internally within the Liberal Party, not played out in the media.
Yeah, we will see. Jane Hume, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much.